What is going on, my Super Sandwiches? Rhymestyle here, and today I'm joined by Kwame for some Dragon Ball Super talk, specifically around the Future Trunks arc, this Black Goku shenanigans, and basically the big reveal that we got earlier this week, or I guess a couple days ago. Now, if you don't want anything spoiled, then I guess leave right now, but at this point, the entire community should know what's going on with the series, that Trunks has come back, and there's a new character, villain, known as Goku Black, which we know nothing about. But today's focus is actually going to be around Future Trunks, and the question that we're going to ask is which Future Trunks is it? Now, I will note this. Initially, when they revealed that Trunks was going to be coming back in Super, the actual sense that they said, or I guess the press release that was released said, after Cell's defeat, the future was supposed to be at peace. But then he reappears, referring to Trunks. So, because of that one line, the first confirmation that it was Future Trunks was basically confirmed. But at the same time, after seeing all the current evidence, a lot is pointing to otherwise, and a lot of us actually believe that this actually might be the current main timeline Trunks. Now, before we continue and tell you our points, we will tell you right now we have no clue which Trunks this is, and we probably will not find out until maybe this Sunday when we get the next episode preview, or of course on June 12th when Trunks actually reappears. So we have no clue what the situation is with that. So for now, all we can really do is speculate and wait. But Kwame and myself have some topics we want to throw out there to basically tell you why we believe that this is the main timeline Trunks as opposed to the future ones. So Kwame, do you want to actually toss out your points first?
Yeah, I actually have three reasons, Dino, and the first obvious point is the fact that logically, when you look at Mai, I think Mai is the most important thing because in Trunks' future,
that for sure is Mai. The voice actors did confirm that she was going to be doing a lot of stuff, so that's Mai.
Yes, Ito Yamada, the voice actor for Mai, actually said this. But the interesting thing is that me and Dino thought about it logically. In Trunks' timeline, if she theoretically was alive after all of what happened, number one, it would pretty much be impossible for her to be young or around Trunks' age because of the fact that because of the Dragon Balls not being around in that timeline, there was no real way she could become a kid again unless she used the Namekian Dragon Balls, and that's extremely unlikely considering the fact that do you really think they would go all the way to New Namek to make Ma young again?
Which, by the way, even Goku struggled to find New Namek in the Cell Saga. So if Goku struggled, even though I know Bulma's great with technology, I feel like even she would have a huge issue finding Planet Namek. But then again, in the past, we have seen Toriyama do some wacky writing where, he can obviously write it in there. But we're just kind of toss out there that finding the Namekian Dragon Balls in Future Trunks' timeline is almost next to impossible, but not impossible. But keep going.
Yeah, so, I mean, when you factor that in, Dino, I mean, Mai was pretty much, a full-grown woman from Dragon Ball, so
she's older than Bulma.
Exactly. So when you look at the fact that she was pretty much a grown woman from Dragon Ball, she has to be significantly older, and from what that poster's showing, she seems like she's pretty young. So that's one obvious contradiction, and then the next contradiction would be the whole advent of Black Goku. Now, I've said this before, Black Goku is supposed to be, obviously like an evil version of him, but in Future Trunks' timeline, Goku is dead. And for Goku to come back, unless they pull like a Mortal Kombat situation with Sindel, I can't see them just bringing Goku back from the dead and then making him evil and mind control. That's the only possible way I can see Black Goku coming back.
The main reason why it's a problem is because he died of natural causes. So it's important to point that out. But again, going back to the past retcons, Frieza technically should have been brought back in Resurrection F, and he was. So again, that could have been changed. But keep going.
And for my last point, it would obviously, this is more of a general point, but it would just be the period of time because, I made my whole alternate timeline theory on this, and I'm just curious, as to what point in time would all of this have happened for Trunks to go back in time and divert the timeline that we know. It just makes significantly more sense for this kid Trunks to have been the one because of the relationship with Mai and the whole advent of that. And that's pretty much my three reasons.
Get it? My. Also, what I was going to point out is, so Trunks, or this current period, this arc is taking place, is 17 years in the future. Now, this is another contradiction, which is the reason why I believe this is the main timeline. Future Trunks was, 20 years in the future? Is that what it was?
Well, when the whole thing with Future Gohan happened, that was about 13. So then when you add another 3 years, it's about 16, and then you could just add the additional future from there on out.
Oh, so then actually that one, it actually could technically fit still, right?
Somewhat.
Okay. For some reason I was thinking 20 years because I was thinking about the other Cell. That's probably why. So we'll toss that theory out the window. The other one I want to talk about is the scarf. Now, this is a complete generalization. This is just basically a speculation, guess, theory, whatever you want to call it. The fact that he's wearing that red scarf, it makes me think that he got that from present time Bulma. Because if you guys remember, actually, she has been wearing a red scarf for a while now, ever since Resurrection F. And not at one point did we ever see Bulma in the future wear a red scarf. Now, you probably think, well, Rhymestyle, she could probably just worn it off camera. It's a stupid thing to point out. Well, the reason why I'm pointing that out is because of the situations in the present and versus the future. In the future, it was a dark time. It was all about survival. It was just basically, I mean, look at future Gohan versus adult Gohan. Two completely different people. Future Gohan was all about, you know, being like, he struggled, he has scars. Like, he wears the scars on his sleeves, essentially. And he was a very different person than the Gohan that we saw grow up in peaceful times. Now, the reason why I'm tossing that out there is because in the future, it's not really something that you would do to wear clothes based on, you know, fashion. Now, you could probably argue that, you know, it was peaceful times and Bulma probably went back to her old ways, but I feel like after surviving or living in dark times for like, what, 12, 13 years or so with the androids terrorizing, the last thing on your mind is going to be fashion, which is basically what scarves are really just for. With that said, I'm thinking that future Bulma technically never really wore a scarf because she didn't really care about fashion. She cared more about just living life, enjoying it, rebuilding from what the androids destroyed, and just kind of going out from there. Now, present Bulma is a different Bulma. Again, she lived more of a happy life. She's very rich. She's very successful. And with that, she kind of has a chance to live the glamour side. And again, this is kind of a ridiculous theory, and if this is ridiculous, feel free to tell me, Kwame. But I feel like because he has that scarf, at some point I think Bulma, the present Bulma, has died, and that's his way of coping. Because if you guys remember Bardock, when Bardock's friends died, he wore that bandana. That was his friend's blood. And in a way, I think this is the same scarf that Bulma used to wear, and at some point, she probably died. And now Trunks is kind of wearing it as his memorabilia, just like a thing. And the other thing I want to toss out there also is, you're probably wondering, well, why does this Trunks have a time machine as well? We also got to remember, Bulma knows what happens in the future. So if the main timeline does go to shit, which it could possibly be the situation here, it's very possible for her to just take that same idea of what she did in the future and done it again for Trunks. Now, as far as why Trunks was sent back, we have no clue. I mean, for all we know, Mai goes back with him. I don't really know. The theory, it could be possible that everybody is dead and Trunks is the only one surviving along with Mai and whoever else is in the crew. But I think she also might have built that time machine based on the same design and just kind of did the same thing that future Trunks did. So does that make sense?
I agree with you. I mean, the only thing is, though, Dino, is that scarf thing, it could be Bulma's, but the only thing is it could also be just design, and that's the whole thing.
That's also true. Also true.
The reason I bring this up, Dino, is because a lot of people are already speculating. I saw in my comment section about the fact that these are like the Potara earrings from like Demigrai, as Geekdom pointed out. And although I think that's possible, it could also just be colors too, like what we saw with Toa's, which you were talking about off the air.
We'll talk about the earrings briefly in a second, because I do want to say something about that as well. The last thing I would mention is a lot of people have also said, well, this could possibly be Android 17's scarf as well. Well, there's two problems with that. Number one, the color. Android 17's scarf was orange. I have the figure right now. I'm staring at the figure. I also looked at the image 2 seconds ago, again, just double checking. I know I'm not colorblind. It is orange. Kwame, can you confirm what color Android 17's scarf is? Just to make sure I'm not colorblind.
Yes, it's an orangish color, yes.
It's orange. The scarf that Trunks is wearing is red. Now again, there's a possibility that someone screwed up the color. And speaking of color, a lot of people are pointing out the fact that Trunks' hair is blue. And I just want to point out that every time Toriyama actually drew Trunks, it was always blue. It's just when Toei actually turned it into a series, that's when they changed the stuff around. An infamous color mishap happened when the series initially started, and they showed Saiyans with different colors. Pure-blooded Saiyans all have black hair, and that's why we had that whole mishap with the Arlia Vegeta, how he had brown hair initially and then turned black. That's where that comes from. So it's possible that when we actually see future Trunks, his hair is going to be the same as he is right now in his kid form. So just kind of want to point it out there, because a lot of people are still talking about the blue hair with Trunks. And just remember that Toriyama has always drawn Trunks with blue hair. Actually, has there ever been a time when he hasn't? Do you know, Kwame?
Well, the thing is, it was kind of based on Bulma, because originally Bulma had purple hair in the manga.
Right.
And he kind of had, he kind of did that to kind of mirror Bulma. So I think it was kind of a nod that they took kind of to follow the anime version in some essence.
Yeah, but the only reason I'm pointing it out is because I know someone's going to be in the comments like, well, if they got Trunks' hair wrong, they probably got their scarf wrong too. again, it's very possible that that actually happens, but just remember that when we see Trunks in anime, it's more than likely that he'll have the same color hair as he does right now in the show. Just want to kind of toss it out there that he's always been drawn with blue hair whenever it was color present. The last thing that I want to say was Mai and Trunks became a thing in Dragon Ball Z Battle Gods. Now, we don't know what happened to the Pilaf gang in the future. They could be alive, they could be dead, I don't really know. But you pointed out yourself that the possibility of Mai running into Trunks is very unlikely in the future. Very, very unlikely, just because there was a lot of chaos, essentially. On top of that, we don't know if they were alive. But due to the fact that they're advertising this as Mai and Trunks, it's, number one, it seems like they're a thing, which you know happened in Battle Gods. And two, I just feel like there's just so much evidence pointing that this is the main timeline as opposed to the future. Now again, this is all kind of canceled out due to the fact that the initial press release said after Cell's defeat, the future was supposed to be a piece, and then Trunks, he reappears. Which again, this is the one flaw. I don't know if they kind of messed that up, or if they just were, you know, they got their own Trunks mixed up, which could be very possible. So I guess the question is what do you guys think? Do you think this is future Trunks or just future main Trunks? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Man, this is going to get really confusing. Now, the last thing I want to talk about the earrings, and I might do a whole separate video on the earrings thing because there's a lot of confusion about it. And if I address it at the end of this video, people are still going to ask me because, you know, there's a possibility there's people who don't watch the entire video. The earrings. Now, I will point out, we don't know what kind of earrings they are. Yes, they look like Potera earrings, but they're different colors. Potera earrings are yellow, but we've also seen different variations of quote-unquote Potera earrings that were different colors. The earrings that Gohan had when he trained on the Supreme God's planet were blue. Toa's earrings are purple. Demiurge's are green, and which the image that we saw in the leak was green, so a lot of people are referring to the whole Demiurge thing, which again could be a possibility, but again, I don't know. I have a strong gut feeling that these earrings are tied to the Makaio shins, which is why I'm gonna do a whole separate video just so we can focus just talking on that as opposed to two different topics, which can get alluded in the comments. I have a strong gut feeling that these earrings are connected to Makaio shins in a way, and I would love to see that. Because the Makaio shin realm, the demon realm, hasn't really been ever explored like that, and on top of that, Toriyama himself said in the past that he would always kind of want to go into that side of the story, but he never really did. So I feel like these earrings, in a way, could make someone evil. I don't know. I mean, obviously, it's kind of tough to tell at this point because there's so little to talk about, but I just want to toss it out there as well, just so you guys have something to think about as we wrap up this video. And again, I'll probably do a whole separate video on the whole Makaio shin thing, just so we can have a clear focus on just that, so there's not two topics and stuff like that. But, all right, what do you think, Kwame? Is there anything else?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I wanted to just mention, Dino, is the whole thing about 17 possibly being a scarf. For those who might speculate that is, remember that 17 was blown to complete pieces, so I don't really think there could be anything left of it, because...
on top of that, I just don't see why you would want to wear... If someone who terrorized you for 13 years, 12 years, whatever the timeline was, I don't know why...
your best friend.
Yeah, like... Hey, you kill our family and all, but thanks for the scarf. But God, I'm wearing this around my neck to remember every single. It's just a weird thing because you would think that, you know, once the chaos that happened in the future, the thing you want to do is move on. Yeah. So it's very unlikely that it's 817. But again, if I'm wrong, hey, it's possible. We could all be wrong. At this point, all we're doing is speculating based off of one image, based off a little bit of information we have, and we won't know until this Sunday. Because this Sunday we are going to get our first look at the next arc because we'll get the end of the episode preview, and then of course on June 12th we'll get the beginning of the Future Trunks arc of Dragon Ball Super. So, what do you guys think? This is your chance to see if you can call it. Is it future Trunks or future main Trunks? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below and why as well. If you have any theories of your own, feel free to share. All right, Kwame, let's go ahead and wrap up this video and get ready to read these amazing comments. Go ahead, do your thing.
Alrighty, so I hope you guys enjoyed our video. So most importantly, over everything else, please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. And remember, as I always say, to have a great day, guys. And if Dino, if you don't mind me putting a hashtag of the day, it is Future Trunks Hype.